right, so here we go. This is the part of the meeting that people are really talking about. This is where the mayor brings up the agenda item where he asks for special counsel. And why is he asking for special counsel? To deal with a sensitive matter involving a charter member. And who are the charter members? Well, one of the charter members is city manager Mike Womack. It may or may not have anything to do with Mike Womack. We don't know. Because it's a personnel issue, the mayor never does, over the course of this meeting, open up too much about his desire for this outside counsel. That's when you'll start to see commissioners ask for the city attorney, Steve Francis, to weigh in and say whether or not he believes there is a need for outside counsel. So this whole thing just starts playing out right here. This is really, again, the main, like, people were mostly playing nice until we got here. Not that it went too far off the tracks in this moment, but this was really the part of the meeting that's got everybody talking.
That brings us to agenda item G7, engagement of special labor counsel.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Hatley.
Yes, I make a motion to table G7 until the city attorney provides a written legal opinion regarding whether the mayor acted within his authority under the charter in initiating contact with outside legal counsel. No further action on this item shall occur until the commission receives the city attorney's guidance.
Support. We have a motion on the table supported by Commissioner Atwood, supported by Commissioner Brady, to table this until we can obtain legal opinion from Mr. Francis. Is there discussion?
So again, the point starts getting made here. Who directed the mayor to even approach outside counsel? Because he does have, I forget what they call it, some sort of like letter of engagement where he gets a quote from a different attorney saying, you know, something to the effect of $500 an hour for their services. And some of these city commissioners have a real problem with that because they're saying it's not for you to just go do that. You don't solicit professional services unless it's at our behest, right? These are all things that are kind of playing out, I think, with the whole, are we a small body, a large body? And there's also the matter of personnel issues are often discussed behind closed doors. So we get into this whole mess of, well, you know, the commissioners aren't comfortable approving this agenda item without having a better idea why he wants to spend all this money and whether or not Attorney Francis can handle this in the first place. And Attorney Francis is saying, there's only so much I know. I don't know if it's appropriate necessarily for me to be involved. So there's a lot of people who are very confused right here.
Commissioner Atwood.
Yes, this is not against you by any means. This is, again, new to me. But the mayor personally contacted this law firm regarding labor and employment counsel without prior commission authorization. While no agreement was signed, this raises questions about charter compliance tabled consideration, ensures that the commission acts collectively and within its legal authority.
I do believe that you did present the question in email correspondence to the city attorney, and he had already sufficiently answered your question. Mr. Francis, do you recall the email correspondence that we're talking about?
I do recall an email exchange, Mayor, maybe not this exact one. And you could correct me if I'm wrong on the exchange, but I think my general response was I didn't have enough information to make a call on that because I don't know enough. I know that we spoke briefly, yeah. And that's the extent of my knowledge on this issue.
Okay. Mr. Womack first.
Thank you. In addition to my shared concerns about the mayor's authority to approach outside counsel without being directed to do so by the commission, I guess I'm just not in favor of this kind of non-transparent action being suggested by the mayor. It feels just a little cloak and dagger for a government which is supposed to be acting transparently. You know, you indicate you want to hire outside counsel for limited labor and employment regarding a charter officer.
Yeah. Mr. Womack, I'm going to stop you right there.
So again, we hear that term charter officer, which city manager Mike Womack is a charter officer. How many charter officers are there? Is this just the city commission? I wish I knew. I don't know. I think it might just be the people you see on the screen. Maybe it includes Ramona Shelburne. Maybe there could be a handful of people. There could be a large number of people. But for the secrecy and care with which this whole thing is being handled, it's probably not a small thing, right? And again, before some of these city commissioners go ahead and approve the mayor's request, they first start trying to get clear that it's not your place to even make such a request. You are to do that at our request. Don't take it upon yourself to go look for outside counsel. And, you know, like you're going to hear Commissioner Brady say, and I'm not going to give anyone that request unless our city attorney comes to me and says it would be entirely appropriate for us to do so. So can we hear from Mr. Francis, please? Well, Mr. Francis doesn't know everything that is going on, and so he's not fully prepared to say one way or the other. Meanwhile, we have city manager Mike Womack, who feels like, you know, he's under a microscope. So it's very uncomfortable for him. There's a lot happening here.
Because at this point, you're delving into inferring motive and intent and character behind the mayor. You don't know what the conversation is about. State your point of order and cite your
City manager
authority.
is here to advise us and to protect us also. So I would like to get his comment
All right.
as an administrator
And
that we have
I'm
hired.
going to rule on your point of order, first of all, that you haven't cited any authority, and secondly, he
I'm a
is breaking
commissioner.
a rule right now, and I'm addressing that rule, and you're
I
calling a
appeal
point
the
of
ruling of
order
the
on
chair.
me addressing that rule. You're out of order, Mr. Brady.
He is.
Mr. Womack,
Thank you, Chair.
before you finish, I'm going to finish what I was saying, that you will need to refrain from attacking the character or motivations or intent of a member of this board. You may proceed.
Mr. Chair, before you interrupted me and I had the floor, I was asking simply what these things are about. This is not ordinary, this is not regular, this is not how government should be run. I don't think there's a person in this room who doesn't think that this is about creating cause to fire your city manager. Which, you know, if the board wants to go in a different direction, that's fine. You know, we have an agreement in place, I'm willing to abide by that agreement. I just don't want to hide from the public and hide from myself and hide from the board who couldn't prepare for this meeting based upon how you put this together. In addition to, I just didn't think you had the authority to do what you did. Thank you.
So again, how you put this whole thing together, I don't think you had the authority to take these steps. This is what we're hearing from the city manager. This is important stuff, because if the mayor doesn't have the right to do it, he shouldn't do it. This isn't the city manager being difficult, and this isn't Commissioner Brady being difficult, right? These are people who have been on this board for quite some time, who seem to be trying to make sure things are being done the right way, which is particularly difficult in this moment because the mayor has to be necessarily careful with the information he shares in the public about a personnel issue. So again, that's why we need to hear from the city attorney, and the city attorney needs to be completely abreast of what's going on before he can give a good opinion, because we are talking about coming very close to spending at least tens of thousands of dollars on something that maybe we shouldn't be spending that money on. Maybe we should be. The mayor may be spot on with what he's trying to do. He may be going about it the wrong way, but he might be, hot on the trails of a problem that he's going to solve. It's just hard to say right now.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Womack. I will address the transparency issue and statement that you made earlier as you were insinuating motivation and character, because you had already made it,
Mr.
in
Chair,
spite of
point
the
of order.
rules stating that you shouldn't. The transparency is not an issue here because I have clearly stated that it is a personnel issue. Now, you are assuming and making the leap that it's about firing your city manager. And at this point in time, I'm not at liberty to say what the personnel issue is because it would violate confidentiality and privacy, and it would step outside of the bounds of clearly defined procedures that are in place for this sort of thing. And until the commission makes a motion to move on any special counsel or to engage with any special counsel or to act on any opinions from special counsel, none of those procedures have taken place. And the personnel that this involves would violate all of their confidentiality because they haven't given the opportunity to have a public or a closed hearing on the matter at hand. So at this point in time, the transparency of asking for a motion for approaching special counsel is the most transparent that it can get, while protecting confidentiality and ensuring that we're following the proper rules and procedures and laws that protect this sort of thing. Commissioner McCarthy.
The thing that I'm always stunned at is this leap from point A to point Z, that this means that it's automatically someone's trying to do something to fire our city manager, because I quite frankly, I'm nowhere close to ever wanting to do that. I don't have a reason. And I've not heard anybody else ever mention that that's what they want. So I don't know inside this, because again, you gotta protect people and what, the privacy. I can't tell you what all's in this, I don't know. But I don't believe that I would ever vote to fire the city manager, so I don't think that's what this is about. That's just my opinion, because I'm not privy to everything. We're making assumptions that we think it's A, but I'm not sure that it's A. I think that's a leap of faith on our part into a fear factor.
So Commissioner McCarthy talks about people making leaps from point A to point B that are sometimes massive leaps. Whether or not this has to do with City Manager Womack or Commissioner Brady or anybody else, who is to say in this moment? And so I understand her caution that people ought not be too presumptuous when trying to sort through these choppy waters. But that's why some of the members of the commission want to hear from Attorney Francis. They're saying to the mayor, okay, well, first off, you probably shouldn't be taking it upon yourself to go pursue outside counsel. But at the very least, since you can't give us your reasons for any of the steps that you're taking, can we hear from City Attorney Steve Francis whether or not in his mind, it would be a conflict of interest for him to preside over or handle this issue? Does he believe that it's appropriate for the city to spend potentially tens of thousands of dollars on outside counsel or not? And that's where this becomes a very circular matter.
That's just my opinion.
So, thank you, Commissioner McCarthy, and we have Commissioner Brady.
Well, I feel as though I'm in the same boat. I have no idea. I have no idea who this is about. I'm being asked to now There's so many assumptions that are being made. So my A, B, C, and D all the way to get to Z, I don't know what the offense is. I don't know who this person is. I don't know what the offense would be. I don't know, I'm just gonna hold the floor, please. I don't know who asked the mayor to go and try to find counsel, because it wasn't this board. I know the answer to that question, it wasn't the board. So I guess my assumption is the mayor took that upon himself, acted as if he were the board to go and find an attorney. I don't know if there's a conflict of interest, because our city attorney has not brought forward, that's so disrespectful to this law firm to assume a conflict of interest. They'll tell us. They will tell us when there's a conflict of interest. I doubt he even knows what it is. I don't think our attorney has a clue what the charges are, who the person is. If it's a personnel matter involving a charter officer, the commission, okay, so if we were doing this the right way, Charter Section 4.14F would say that the commission of its own initiative can go and find special counsel. The commission of its own initiative. We never asked for anybody to go find special counsel, right? Or under the direction of the city attorney. And I never got from him that we needed any kind of special counsel. $650 an hour, we pay him $170 an hour. So before we go to $650 an hour, I'd like to know that he can't do the job.
So I'm going to end the video here because I want to keep these as digestible as possible. Commissioner Brady, again, he talks about $650 an hour. That's like 4 times what we're paying our own city attorney. That's a massive amount of money. Later in the meeting, Commissioner Atwood addresses that the city only has about $10,000 budgeted to spend on outside counsel. So at $500 an hour, that's like 20 hours. That would go quick potentially. And for what? So we see a city commission that is by and large not super comfortable with what the mayor is asking. Not only are they not comfortable with what he's asking, which is, again, possibly spending tens of thousands of dollars on outside counsel, but the fact that he's asking for it at all. As Commissioner Brady says, pursuit of outside counsel should come at the direction of the city commission, or perhaps the direction of the city attorney, maybe the city manager, not so much the mayor. So that's where we're at. Just for what it's worth, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. Tim Galbraith, #Lapeer. Thanks for spending your time with me. I'll see you in the next one.